Good afternoon, cruise controllers. Tank here. It is time for another session of Real Talk. So, some of you remember from the last video, we were talking about our friend Nacho Libre because he has become our number one. You got to give achievement recognition when they get it. He is the number one comment troll on all of Cruise Control Multisport. And we just want to say thank you, Nacho Libre, or actually I think his name is Libra Mac, because every view that you make of our videos, no matter what you say, helps us to get to more people and everything. So thank you very much. Or in your case, marami salamat po. We're so happy that you do that for us. But we can't let your craziness go without talking about it. So today we get to have another bowl of nachos. Which I'm sure are going to be extra crunchy because this guy is just the biggest crab that we see on a regular basis, and he wants all of you to think that somehow you are being deceived and misguided by Coach Cruz's methods and practices and things like that, which of course there are so many positive videos from so many of us riders just like me that were absolute weekend warrior, novices, newbies, fledglings. This week we came up with a new name, zygote cyclist. So we're going like all the way down the food chain to the lowest possible thing you could be, right? And all of that to say that we all started in that same spot. Now, some of us came to Coach Cruz because we were also seeking fitness. For those of you that have been watching my progression from August all the way forward, I've now lost a total of 29 kilos. I am lighter now today than I was when I was 17 years old, and I'm 49, turning 50 in June. And I attribute all of that to both the hard work that I've put in, because obviously I ride quite a bit, but also the support that I've gotten from the cruise control community, because we do that for each other. We look out for one another, encourage one another, share recipes with one another, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the things that Coach Cruz has given us to work on and practice with as it pertains to our fitness and things like that, right? So you can argue all you want. You can have an opinion all you want. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. It's just when you start saying things like it's BS, or you're deceiving people, or you're hurting Filipinos with your bad suggestions and things like that. We got to call our own BS when we hear that, right? So Nacho Libre spends all his time trolling our videos and likes to leave little snippet comments about this, that, and the other thing. If you remember the last week when we did Real Talk, we said, look, we'd love to see some of your videos on training. We'd love to understand where you're coming from, what's been your history, what's been your past. Were you a former pro? Enlighten us. We're certainly don't think that we've cornered the market on all there is to know about cycling and training and bike fitting and all of this other stuff. But if you've got something to offer, we're all ears. Look, see, I brought my big ears today. We're all ears, and we want to hear what you have to say. Unfortunately, even though we made that request, we've yet to see anything. We can't find any website that has any information about this guy or his background and everything else. Yet he still likes to pretend, at least in our comment section, that he is the authority on what is BS or not. So my guess is that because what he's saying is a lot of BS, that's what makes him an authority, right? He's good at bullshit. We just call it what it is. And so he likes to spout it out as often as possible because, God forbid, there's another person making a good life for themselves in this world and affecting people in a positive way. And there is not one cruise controller that would argue that point. Every single one of us has our own story. Every single one of us is proud to wear our cruise control jerseys and shorts and participate in everything that we do. And that's what it's all about. So, this week I wanted to highlight a few things. We have a great video that we put out, and this video was all about a Swiss BMC bike fix session. So if you haven't seen it yet, we put it up on March 5, so just about 10 days ago. and it's already got 14,000 views. Thank you, Nacho Libre. I'm sure there was at least 5 or 6 of views from you. But he starts in right away with this is BS, and you're misleading people and everything else. And so let's just break it down, and we'll address a couple things. First of all, we get asked all the time, am I a business partner to Coach Cruz or Cruise Control? No, I'm a big fan. I'm a student. He is a coaching mentor. We have a great friendship within our community, and so whenever I can, I'm there to help out and everything, because he's got a hectic schedule, and I'm in a position where I can do that when I want to, and so that's how we do it. So we all look out for each other. Sometimes we're giving rides to one another to get to certain spots where we're going, or we're assisting in helping out newbies, or whatever the case may be, and we just make the world go round. So we'll just get that out of the way right now. Thanks for that question. And as we jump right into Nacho Libre greatness, we have a comment here from someone that just wants to know why it seems like in every video that the bike stem gets changed. You would be surprised, and I can tell you this firsthand, how many people come in with a bike that they think fits them, and they are just too stretched out, right? It's very natural. You go and buy a bike off the shelf. Obviously, it wasn't made specifically for you, and therefore there are going to be some components that may not be a good fit for you. In my case, I think it was an 80 millimeter stem, and I went down to a 60 millimeter stem. All it did was make the cockpit on the bike a little bit narrower or closer together, smaller, and it made it more comfortable for me, got my center of gravity in the right spot and all those kinds of things, changed the amount of pressure that I was putting on my arms and my hands, and things started to get a little bit more comfortable, right? So it's one of those things where you can take maybe a not so great bike that isn't fitting the rider very well, and with something as small as just changing out the stem, you can make a big progress, a big effect on rider comfort, right? Which is ultimately what helps us stay on the bike more. And so that's ultimately where it starts. And yes, so changing a stem makes a big difference. Anyone that doesn't know that, doesn't get that, well, you're probably in the Nacho Libre camp, and wherever that is, I'm sure it's a super happy or super sad place, one of the two, right? So we actually made the comment back that actually the person that made the comment said the bike must be oversized, it looks really long for her, et cetera, and it is. Again, it was a secondhand bike, like a lot of us, right? I'm sure you've experienced this. You buy the bike you can afford. Sometimes it fits you perfectly, sometimes it doesn't, whatever the case may be. In this case, the bike was just a little bit long for her. That stem really stretched her out more than needed to be. And so we couldn't do some of the other things that we work on in pedaling technique and all of that stuff by having her in that awkward position. So we switched out the stem. That part of the problem was solved. And off we went with the rest of the bike fitting, or the biomechanic tuning, which is what we call it, right? So Nacho Libre responded back with great enthusiasm, saying, "Great, another follower of fake BS." So, the funny part about people that want to make accusations and everything else is oftentimes the thing that they're saying they're doing, right? So here he is calling out BS, and we all think he's full of BS. I don't see any evidence whatsoever as to his great experience or the ability to judge someone else. I shared with you guys last week, I think if you're going to judge someone, that can be a very slippery slope, right? No one likes to be judged, because there's so many other things that we couldn't possibly know about one another that would have to be considered in order to properly judge anyone. And so that just doesn't work, right? So, but I think anytime you judge someone that you've never met, you've never worked with, you've never even had a conversation with, other than making trolling negative comments, you're the real fool. I mean, that's just all there is to it, right? We can't ever, you've heard the expression, don't judge a book by its cover. If that were the case, there'd be these amazing books that have been written in history that have never been read because the covers were horrible, and you would have missed out on the great content, right? So I think that's something that is ignorant. I think it's sad, and I think it sends the wrong message personally. But that's who Nacho Libre is. He wants to be ignorant and sad and just rain on everyone else's parade. Another comment comes later when he is referencing how bad this is for Pinoys. And then he says, watch a real pro how they ride, their position during training and in racing. So let's address that specifically. Coach Cruz is great about putting up side-by-side videos because we don't want to be misleading. And oftentimes we emulate what pros do in all kinds of sports, whether it's football, soccer, or football, basketball, volleyball, swimming, surfing, you name it. We look at pros and we try to emulate them so that we can do some of the things they do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but nevertheless, that's kind of where it starts. Golf is a great one. Everyone always wants to look like and do things like Tiger Woods. There's a reason there's only one Tiger Woods. I won't get into that today. But when we look at riding position and everything else, it's very common that you will see riders in a certain position in the peloton, especially the pro peloton. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for the way they even hold the handlebars, how they can shift so quickly, where their bodies are positioned in the saddle depending on what they're doing, climbing or rolling. Are they spinning? Are they big ringing it? All of those kinds of things. Now, all of that matters, and all of that gets developed based on the type of rider you are. There are some riders that ride at extremely high cadences, but they have the FTP to do that, and so they can handle that. Other riders feel very strong riding in a bigger ring, heavier gear, small cog, kind of thing that you hear Coach talk about a lot, and that becomes good. I can tell you personally, for me, I used to think, and I said this to Coach the day we met, that I'm good at riding high cadence. Go figure, right? And he said, okay, that's cool. So we did. If you've watched my video, and thousands of you have seen the video, I rode it my way first, right? And I thought my head was going to explode. My kids even said they thought my head was going to explode. Friends said the same thing because I got so bright red, and I really did. I thought I was going to die. It was horrible. And then Coach made some adjustments. We talked about certain things. We undid some muscle memory from what I thought was the right way to pedal. And then we did it his way. And, well, the results are right there. It's undeniable that it made a drastic improvement. Now, applying that technique over and over and over again has made such a massive improvement in my riding capability that I can't even begin to tell you how great it is. For those of you that watch our videos, you see that we've been doing some races. We're doing a lot of climbing. We're doing all of these things. And every time we do that, we're really working on our technique. We're working on pushing ourselves to that next level as best we can. And I don't recall Coach ever telling us that he was going to turn us into racing pros. So I'm pretty sure that that's not the desired outcome. If we can race and have fun and be a great community and be competitive, amen. That's what it's all about. If we can't do that, because we're so worried about trying to please everyone, then I think we've really lost the whole point of why we do what we do. Cruise Control Multisport is not a community of racers. We are not building a race team. That is not the motivation that is driving us. We are all riding and operating our bikes at different levels, and there's nothing wrong with that, and we all accept that. But we do have some very similar principles in terms of techniques that Coach has taught us that we deploy every time we ride, and it makes a big difference. Most of us have had, we either ordered bikes that had the right size stem based on Coach doing measurements and things like that and what he thought we needed. Others of us have changed out our stems to get in a better position, all kinds of different things. And of course, not all of that can be put into a video, right? Otherwise, it would just be huge, and then there's no value in that. So there's some things that we put out on the video so that you guys can see, what we're doing, what we're all about. And there's other things that, as a member of the Cruise Control community, you'll find out more information about and can then do some of the other things that we're already doing, etc. But that's what being in this community is. You don't get to understand what it's like to fly in an airplane until you've been in an airplane. You don't understand what it's like to go surfing until you've gotten on a surfboard and gone out in the surf. And there's so many things, examples like that in life. You don't know what it's like to drive a car until you've driven a car. So until you've gone through the program, until you've become a cruise controller, if you will, then there's certain things you're just not going to be exposed to, and that's how it is. So we try to put out good quality for all of you. We enjoy the comments. Most of the comments are really good. I mean, here's one from Bench Sports that I'm not good in speaking English, but hoping to notice this. I want to have my own bike, but my parents can't buy me a bike because I don't have a lot of money. So I'm hoping to have a sponsor and a bike, and I really enjoy watching you guys, and you've inspired me. If that's the best that it gets, that's great. If we can make the difference in one person's life, then everything that's been going on is a blessing. And we already know that we're making a difference because we see it every day within our community and outside of our community, and that's the most important part. So we're not gonna stop putting the information out there. And then Nacho Libre goes out to say, watch some real pro tips and see how it compares to this fake nonsense. Now, again, I asked Nacho last time in my video that you guys watched, what pro tips, right? If you're not going to show me a video of you coaching, you riding, and showing us what's wrong or what's right, at least tell us what pro tips you're talking about. And again, Nacho is so vague. He really doesn't have a point to make other than he just wants to be a basher and a hater, and that's okay. He's entitled to his opinion, but we're not going to let you think that opinion has merit because it doesn't. It's not factual. It's not based on decades of experience that Coach has gone through personally in his own career and everything else, and that matters. Then says to become a strong cyclist, it takes a lot of time, focus, and hard work. Well, I think Coach Cruz, after 3 decades of riding at some of the highest levels and doing what he's done in the tri community and duathlon community, he's definitely got the experience, and he's definitely got the respect of so many of the people within the community here in the Philippines and even abroad. We get comments from all over the world asking about how to participate, what more can be shared with them, can they do online fitting and everything else, because they want to see the benefits that they see on some of these videos, right? The fitting will come to you naturally as you progress, and only then will you know to adjust and wear. So I'm just going to leave it at this and say I've been riding bikes since I was 5 years old. I shared that with you guys last time. Different bikes, BMX, mountain bikes, and of course most recently and a lot road bikes, right? I thought I had a bike that was pretty well adjusted when I went to see Coach Cruz, and we made some changes. I think that happens to people all the time, right? You think you got the answer, maybe you got to do something a little bit different. I know when I've gone and got coaching in golf, which is my other passion you guys know about, someone says, oh, maybe try it this way, or maybe do this a little bit different, or put the ball in this position and then take another swing at it. And sometimes those adjustments make a big impact. Sometimes those adjustments don't do a whole lot, but you still try it, you still see what it looks like and everything else. So I think this notion that you can recognize everything that's going on would mean that there would never ever be a need for a coach in life, and that's just not true. So coaches have the ability to not just recognize what you're good at, but also to recognize what you're not good at, so that they can help you amplify the things you're really good at, and then bring up the level of things you're not good at. That's what any coach worth his weight is capable of doing, and Coach Cruz is certainly no different. Again, you go to any single one of the cruise control members and you ask them how they feel about their time in cruise control since they became part of our community, you will not find a single person, not one of the dozens of us that make up this group, that regret being introduced to Coach Cruz, finding his video on Facebook, or dropping into the bicycle shop that he that he works as a studio out of for these bike fittings, and asking and taking a chance on that bike fitting. Not only is he so confident in what he does, he offers every single person that comes through his program a 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't like what you've been through, if you don't see the changes that he's going to offer up to you, if you don't feel that you got the value out of what it was that was presented to you, there's no issues. He never ever collects up front. He always collects after the fitting. So you have the opportunity, even at that point, to walk away and never look back. So anyone that says Coach Cruz is ever taking advantage of anyone has never been through the program and doesn't even know how he works. And that tells us all we need to know about Nacho Libre. And unless there's something ridiculous, we're probably not going to revisit this. But, I just wanted to set the record straight because the cruise control multisport community is my family. And I think, like all of you watching this, family matters, and we look out for family members and our family in general. And I'm not going to let anyone, even if they're just some keyboard warrior, internet troll, trash my family without saying something. I know what that's like. It's not fun, and it's not fair. It's not fair to the process. It's not fair to the success stories. It's not fair to those being inspired by everything that's happening. Some of you have seen the videos of Ken. Ken has gone through an overwhelming transformation and continues to do so. Our good friend and lovable cyclist Rizaldi, who's been out of the picture because he's away on a project and things like that. But every one of us has had that transformation take place, and every one of us is proud of what we're achieving for our own personal gains and things like that. So when we see this kind of stuff, we've got to point it out. We've got to say, no, it's not right. It's not accurate. It's not fair. You can be a troll all you want, but just know when you start spouting BS about things that we can back up, we're going to call you on it every single time. So on a side note, let's go for some real talk, right? Oh my gosh, what an amazing weekend in Porac area in Pampanga at Echo Park. We got to go up there and ride on that new road. Some of you know we've been riding in CLEX the last couple weeks, and CLEX was closed off this past weekend. So we had to kind of switch gears, and we had this great invitation to come to Echo Park to ride in a short little road race with a bunch, and I'm just going to say it, super fast guys, right? We make no bones about it. We're not professionals. I've even, some of you have made the comment that you asked me if I'm a pro. That's super flattering. Answer is absolutely not. No self-respecting pro would ever look like me anyway, because I'm just too big. But to be able to go ride with these guys who represent some of the best in the Philippines and up and coming best in the Philippines, what an amazing blessing and experience. And let me tell you what, there was a massive headwind on half of the race, and because the only reason I know that was on the other half of the race was a tailwind. That was the only thing that saved me in the ride. But it was phenomenal how quick these guys were moving, and hats off to them for riding a great race. They deserve all the accolades. They're just a bunch of speed demons in the best possible way. And but we had a blast, and we had so much fun. And the best part is everyone is always so welcoming, so gracious to us, and even having fans come up for either myself as the tank and Coach Cruz and things like that. Just awesome. So thank you so much to everyone in Pampanga for the invitation. We absolutely, of course, will be back. And if you're watching this and you've got a great road for us to go ride or to run a criterium at, and you want us to come out there and hang with you and have some fun, just let us know. Shoot us something on Facebook or even leave it here in a comment. We see everything, and we'd be happy to come go do that. So that was really, really exciting. And we've got some really cool things coming up. We're going to be doing a trip up to Baguio and Sagada. And now that that's open, and get out there and get up in the mountains, do some serious climbing, have some fun, maybe do like an overnighter kind of thing, and just really kind of change it up, right? We've been doing a lot of criterium type stuff for a while now. And this will give even some of the newbies a chance to go experience some road riding that they've never done before. So we're really, really excited about that. And so there's a lot of good things going on at Cruise Control Multisport. The group continues to grow every single week. We have more and more riders coming in for biomechanic tuning, more and more riders that are going out and making a difference in the weeks to come from having had that session with Coach. And then the fitness level, right? I mean, I talked about Ken a minute ago, myself. I mean, these things are being applied now to so many people. It's almost impossible to keep track of. and seeing the results week after week with people in weight loss and in how they feel energy wise and all of those things. I mean, that's what all of this is about for us. So it's not just about cycling. It's not about being a team of racers or any of that kind of stuff, because we're not. None of us are sponsored or anything crazy. Every one of us has their own responsibilities to look out for when we do these rides and the events and all that kind of stuff. So we just really, really appreciate the support. I mean, I can't tell you what it means to see some of the comments that I get from people that are fans of the tank and watching the Facebook page, or even what we see at Cruise Control, and then of course for Coach Leanne Cruz. All of these things are just amazing, and so we love that part of it. We take pride in that part of it, and we're just so excited to be able to share all of this with you. If there's something you want to know, something you want to hear more about, if there's a topic you want us to cover, Coach Cruz and I got some crazy ideas that we're going to be messing around with as time goes on, and have some fun with this, because we want you to have fun too. The support that we get on the Cruise Control YouTube channel is ridiculously awesome, and so we're super grateful for that. And thanks for everything that you guys do. And so that's Real Talk for this week. And I apologize for being a day late, but work got in the way yesterday. Got to pay the bills. But we got that squared away, and now we're back at it. And the Nacho Libre, no one's being deceived. No one's getting any BS. No one is disappointed with what they've achieved at Cruise Control Multisport except for you. And the only reason I can think that you are disappointed is you've never been to Cruise Control Multisport. So who knows? Maybe you can set your pride down. Maybe if you are ever here in the Philippines or wherever it is that you're from, we get to meet you and hear about how amazing your pro career was in cycling, which I doubt you had, or what a tremendous coach you are, which I doubt you are. But nevertheless, we'd be open to that, and we would certainly entertain it. And we'll even put it right here on Real Talk so that everyone can see that we've met each other, and we know what's going on and what's what and all of those things. And if there is something to be learned, I promise you, everyone on this side of the camera is open-minded and open-hearted to learn and understand something new. We've yet to see any of that come from you, but the offer still remains the same, right? For those of you that want to hear more about Cruise Control Multisport, want to participate in our community, you can reach out here on YouTube, drop us a note, a comment, and a way to get back to you if you want to email or something like that, or go to the Facebook page, Cruise Control Multisport, and you can get a message to us from there. You can get a message to me at Tommy the Tank, and all of that will get back to Coach Cruz, and you can get an appointment set up, and we can come meet you. He does sessions down south in Tagaytay, up north in Clark and Pampanga, here of course in Manila all the time, and he's even done stuff in Cebu and Davao, and that's all coming up now that some of the travel restrictions have been lifted, and so we're happy to do all of that as well. So that's all for now. I'm Tommy the Tank, and this has been Real Talk episode 2. And we look forward to some more episodes with this. And again, if you have questions, comments, don't be shy, send them along. We'll try to answer everything we can online, and if we can't, come find us at one of the riding courses that we're at, and talk to us there. Don't be shy. We love taking pictures. We love hanging out, talking to you. None of us are too big for any of that kind of stuff, so don't worry about it. We're always approachable and always happy to do that. And at the end of the day, hearing about your experiences, your love for cycling is just as fun for us as it is for you to come in and hang out. So don't ever think about that stuff. Come say hello, introduce yourself, and we'll take a picture, do whatever you want, and have some fun. Thank you. Marami salamat for all your support, all your love, your likes, your shares. All of those things matter, and we're just so grateful to be able to do this with you, and we will see you on the road.